Today we're going to be learning about making inferences and drawing conclusions. So, what do you know? What clues did you find? What can you infer? And what can you conclude? An author doesn't always tell their readers everything. They rely on their readers to use inferential thinking to understand what is going on in the story. When you make an inference, you go beyond the author's words to understand what is not said in the text. How do you make inferences? So first we start with our background knowledge. This is stuff that we already know. Then we use evidence, which are clues from the text. Using what we know and what we read in the text, we can make an inference. Here are some ways that you can state what you are inferring. So these are called thinking stems. My guess is maybe, perhaps, it could be that, this could mean, I predict, I infer, or I conclude that. So these are all ways you can get your thinking started when you are making inferences. If you want to, you can take a screenshot of this and save it for later. So let's look at this picture right here. Okay? I want you to take a second and look at this picture. Think to yourself, why is this man on the floor? Okay? And what makes you think so? So what in this picture makes you think that he is on the floor? Well, I think the man is on the floor because he fell down. Okay, it looks to me like he fell down. And I think that because there is a wet floor sign, see right here, I see it says caution wet floor. And all of his stuff is all over the floor. So I'm using what I know, that if there's a wet floor and I'm walking on it, I might slip and fall. But then I'm also using what I can see in the picture, which is his stuff all over the floor and this sign that says caution wet floor. Okay, let's look at this picture. So what do you think this boy is thinking? What makes you think so? So why do you think he's thinking that? Okay. I think the boy does not want to eat his food. I think this because of the look on his face. When I look at his face, he does not look happy. And because I know that a lot of kids do not like vegetables. And if I look at his plate, there's just a bunch of vegetables on his plate, and that's it. So I use what I know, and I use what I saw in the picture to make an inference. When you draw conclusions, you take all of the evidence to make a judgment. So like when we were looking at the pictures, we used what we know and we used what we saw in the pictures to draw a conclusion. At the end of a story, readers use their background knowledge, what we know, and evidence from the story, so what we can see or what we read in a story, and any inferences they made to draw conclusions about the story. So that's what we just did using the pictures. Readers may want to draw conclusions about a character, so a person in the story, the author's point of view, so what the author thinks in the story, the author's purpose, so why the author may have written the story, the main idea, what the story is mostly about, the theme of the story, the message or moral of the story, so what this story is trying to teach us. So these are all things that we may draw conclusions about. Remember, reading is thinking. So when you're reading, you have to stop and think, okay? Use what you know plus what you read or see, the clues in the text, the evidence, and then you can make an inference. Good readers make inferences as they read and use all the information gathered to draw conclusions. Great job. Now I want you to go back, click the home button when you're done watching this video, and then go do some practice.